What's going on, guys? I appreciate you guys clicking on this video. I'm not really gonna waste your time. We're gonna jump straight into this thing.
Finna drop the fucking bass.
What's going on, yo? So yeah, the first thing I like to do is usually start off with my ball line. I set it with my cordless detailers just because they don't hit that hard, so it doesn't set a super hard line that's eventually super hard to get out. Then I go with my masters completely open, about an inch and a half, and then I'm working my way up. So I start with the clipper closed, hit that bottom line a little bit, and then work my way up. Every time you see me pull the clipper back, I'm adjusting the lever, so you have like 5 notches in between that little guideline that you set originally. I have my clipper set pretty close together, so I don't really struggle getting that bottom line out. But if you do find yourself struggling with that, just grab your trimmers or whatever you set the guideline in with, and just with the corners of your blade, hit the bottom of that line. It should be coming out pretty smoothly. After you blend that bottom line out, next step that I usually like to do is get my one guard all the way open, and same width as the first guideline. Just go all the way about an inch and a half. And then what I like to do to soften that line up so it's easier to blend out, I close my clipper halfway and then all the way and hit that line. Now if you notice that clipper isn't taking that line away right there, don't worry, you're going to come back with the next guard and hopefully take that out with a half guard. So here I put my half guard on to try to get that line out. I like to start with it all the way open and slowly work my way down by closing it. I like to do it that way because it's a lot more safer, and it's better to play it safe because you can always take more hair off. You can't put more hair back on. And here, if you notice, my zero guard isn't really doing the job. It's not taking that whole line completely out. So what I like to do is come back with my corded masters and detail. So I'll start with the clipper open, clipper closed. With these clippers, I like to use a lot of the corners because that way I can etch at the little dark spots without taking too much hair off, because there's just certain spots that need to be taken off. So just detail, clipper open, clipper closed, any little dark specks that you do see, that should be taken out. Always make sure to turn around, look at the mirror. The mirror never lies. It'll show you any imperfections in the haircut. So to blend from the fade into the waves, take your 2 guard and, like I said, start with it open. Work your way back down closed. Right there I have it probably halfway, and then there I have it completely closed. And you should be doing a good job from blending the fade into the waves. Then I'll go back to my 1 guard. I have it all the way open just to clean up that little area that the 2 guard closed couldn't really get all the way out. And as you can see, the fade is pretty much coming together at this point. Yeah, that thing is looking pretty blurry if you ask me.
Finna drop the fucking bass.
So my client here usually gets a 2 with the grain, but today we're gonna end up doing a 1.5 with the grain. So what you want to do is comb all the hair down in the direction of the wave pattern. I like to use either a wide tooth comb or a really short tooth comb to really lift the hair off the scalp. And then we'll come back with the 1 open, just go in the direction of the waves. And what I like to do right here, if we're doing a 1.5 on top, I'll go with my 1 close on the parietal ridge and go with the grain just to take out any remaining bulk that you may see. And then I'll also come back with my half guard open and close around the parietal ridge just to smooth that out and complete the transition from the fade into the waves. And then I still saw some dark spots, so I just came back with my 2 or 3 guard against the grain just to knock out any little dark spots that I did see. Lastly, to bring the whole fade together, what you want to do is just bald out the bottom. I like to keep the bottom to last just so I can see the contrast from light to dark. Next is the most simple but yet most important part about the haircut. There's not really much tips I can give you about giving a straight hairline. The only thing you really want to do is take your time, be steady-handed, step back, look in the mirror, make sure everything's straight. Not everybody's head shape is perfect. You're never going to get that perfect box haircut for everybody, but just try your best. I like to work from side to side and then meet the hairline right in the middle. That's always worked out better for me. So the steps for the back of the head are basically identical to what you're doing on the side. The only thing I can say that's different about the back of the head is the hair tends to be a lot more dense and a lot thicker for some reason. So I like to do my guy lines a little bit bigger just because it gives you a little bit more room to blend, because if you make your guy lines too small, it'll look like a chili bowl in the back of the haircut, and that's not what you want. So same thing, clipper open, close the clipper, take that bottom guy line, slowly open your clipper until you get to the top of the guy line and you think that's completely blended out. Once you finish setting that guy line with your 1 guard, what you want to do come next with the 0 guard, open, halfway, closed, try to get that line out. Like I said, I've noticed with the masters it doesn't get the line completely out, so I'll come back in with my other Andis masters, the one with the cord, and just detail that line out. For me personally, I've always liked using multiple clippers on one haircut just because every clipper cuts differently. And yeah, I could do a whole haircut with 1 clipper, but there's no extra points in doing that. I'd like to make my job easier. Here you'll notice that around his crown, the growth pattern could be a little bit stubborn. Hair likes, in the crown area, hair likes to go different directions, so it's always a little bit stubborn, so you want to take your time in that area. Go over it a few times, hit it in different directions, whatever you can do to take that line out. So once I did with the 2, I'll come back with my 1 close and just hit with the corner, hit those little dark spots that I do see. So I'll end up going with the grain a few times just because you're never gonna get anything right on the first time. So I'll go with my 1 guard open, coast the waves, make sure everything's even and smooth. Then I'll go with the 1 halfway open and then fully closed just around all those areas that I feel need be. And if you can see, there's an area right there I'm struggling with right there. I'll come back with the corner of my clippers and just slowly tap that line until it's pretty much gone. Right here with my Gold Babyliss FX, I'll come back and just bald everything out just to complete the fade. So just like the other side, I like to start on the side of the haircut and then meet my way in the middle of the hairline. You always want to look at your client dead straight on just to make sure you know where to start and where to end the hairline. Once I feel the line is straight, I'll hit the vertical bars right there. And then this step is one of the most important when you're doing a client with waves. What you want to do is freehand trim the top. So what you're doing, right, it may not look like I'm cutting anything, but what you're doing is getting rid of all those straggly hairs that like to stick up after a haircut. So that was a cut, guys. If you guys made it all the way through the video, I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys learned something. If there's anything you want to see in the future when it comes to certain haircuts, certain clippers, drop it in the comments and I'll try my best to make it happen. Once again, appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. You guys be safe.